Hello and welcome to our episode of Let's Talk Energy. And this is episode 5. Can't believe we're on episode 5 of series 2 already. So Let's Talk Energy. We decided to do these bite-sized podcasts to allow you to understand and explore energy a little bit more than ever before. And I have the great honour of doing these podcasts with my dear friend and colleague, Amanda Brooks.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, and I'm Jo Dall. So we decided that energy hadn't necessarily been spoken about in the wider field, and yet we are all energy. We all live and breathe energy, we are surrounded by energy, and so we just felt that we would like to explore this with you so that you can have a greater understanding of energy for you, for your own family, and for those around you. So in this season, we decided that it would be a lovely thing to do to offer you an affirmation and an affirmation for you to use for your own well-being. And so if you would like to get a pen and paper, then you can jot these down now, but also they will be with the podcast episode for you to use then too. So an affirmation is a positive saying in the here and now. And the one that I would like to offer you today as we move in the energy of the summer solstice is as follows. I allow myself to fully receive the light whilst honouring my need to pause, rest and replenish. I allow myself to fully receive the light whilst honouring my need to pause, rest and replenish. These can be said silently inside your head, or you can say them out loud, and it's better if you repeat them 10 or 11 times per time you say them, and you can do it once a day or twice a day, and I would say for at least 7 days so that you fully integrate the message that you're telling yourself. An affirmation, Amanda.
Yeah, so an affirmation is a word, but it's a statement, but it begins with a why. So it's getting the mind to start looking around for why this is going to be the case. So the one for this podcast is, why is it okay to just be in the moment? So why is it okay to just be in the moment? And ideally, you would repeat that 11 times in a row. And you could do it in different voice, like, why is it okay to just be in the moment? Why? And because each one of those, it actually, it brings a bit of fun, but it also gets the subconscious looking, well, why is it? Why is that possible? Why do I need to do that? Now, if you can do that once a day for 21 days, it really lets the subconscious start finding new ways of being. And it's such a simple, easy thing to do. And I like affirmations. I know they're a bit different, but I do like those very much so. So allow yourself, just take a breath for a moment. Let that all just settle in. And you can do the affirmation in the morning, the affirmation at night, or whatever it is you decide, isn't it, Jo? It's what makes it feel right for you, because that's the important thing. It's about you, the individual. But we're going to talk now about entering the energy of the summer solstice. Well, obviously, this is a tad late for that, but we are still in the energy vibration of that time, because the summer solstice was the 21st. And this is obviously coming out just about 8-9 days later from there. But the energy doesn't just be on one day. Nothing's ever quite as cut and dried as that. So that energy vortex, that air, that feeling, and all of that energy that's in there can continue on for quite a while. And so we wanted to really start to look at, what that summer solstice is, what that moving into the summer really is, didn't we, Jo?
Yeah, definitely. And I think when we look at the solstice and the energy around this time of year, it is about that balance. It's about night equaling day. We have the longest day. We have the sun at its highest in the sky, and this shows the peak of lightness. And with lightness comes illumination. So this is a great time for expansion. It's a great time for visibility, for growth, for vitality. And I talk about this a lot. We've talked about it a lot in our previous episodes. But when you look what Mother Nature is showing us at this time of year, everything that has been in bud in the spring is now reaching absolute full blossom. The trees are full of leaves. They're reaching out as far as they can into their branches, and they're reaching out to the sky. Everything is vibrant. Mother Nature is bringing all these beautiful colours, all of these amazing fragrances for us. And this is the time when the earth is at its most alive, where the energy of the earth is reaching out and shouting, we are here, we are absolutely in our full blossom and bloom. So what does this mean energetically? Well, if we use it as a spotlight, it can be a time when we are at our best, where everything is in balance, where we are filled with this sense of vitality, where we are working beautifully within ourselves. But this is also a time when everything's illuminated, because as everything around us looks so amazing, if we're not feeling quite right, it can illuminate that within us, that we're not quite in balance, that we're not feeling quite 100%. And it's also a time where we could, I'm not saying you do, but we could be in that place of overgiving, overstretching ourselves, overdoing. And so this is really a time to just bring that into our awareness. So with that in mind, what would you suggest for people to be aware of at this time of year?
So the thing is that it's often that time of the year where we're looking forward to a summer holiday. If sometimes we actually can't even have a summer holiday. We don't have the resources to do that. So it's almost like a double whammy. It's the time where everyone else is talking about holidays and we maybe can't actually go on one. But it's almost that time where just a week of doing nothing and being out in nature and having that sun just touching the skin. I'm not talking about sunbathing. I'm just talking about that nurturance that comes in through the skin from the sun. It goes all through the meridians. It actually helps to rejuvenate the body. But it's also can be the time where we have a lot of unresolved stuff from and the thing that's coming to mind right now completely randomly is that when you're at school and you're waiting for the summer holidays to start and it's such a long time, and then the parents are all like, such a long holiday, and you've got all of that. So you've got like the anticipation, but you've also got that everything's dragging type of energy. And it feels very much that we might be going into a period of feeling that. So that would be the times where I would be suggesting people that they put it in a basket or a balloon, or the thoughts, they breathe it into there, or the cosmic container, letting all of that energy just starting to dissolve, because it can feel very overwhelming. And the nights are shorter as well, so people tend to be up and out and possibly having a little bit of a garden drink and whatnot. But again, it's about remembering to have more water, because yes, we do need fluid, but it's water we need as well.
Definitely. And I think this is, where there is such a strong outward energy. So you've just named it, being sociable, being busy, being available, more available than perhaps we would do in the winter months where we shut our door early and bunker down. And that is amazing to do, but it can also be a bit depleting. And we often as well, at this time of year, we are either trying to rush to get everything done because we know we're going on holiday, but there's also that's kind of the school holidays perhaps are coming up, and then you're just in that moment of like, oh, can we breathe to the end of term? And then there's all the extra activities of the concerts and the sports day and everything else that's going on. So it is really about taking stock, I think, taking that moment to recognize and realize what you're doing and reflect on it a little bit, and just to be mindful of how your energy is feeling at this moment in time.
Yeah, and you're so right. It is all that running around, and even if you don't have children, you try and go into town, which would normally take you 5 minutes, and it can take you half an hour because there's so many more people on the roads, isn't there? So it all becomes that extra pull, on the body, and because it's so bright and hopefully sunny, we have these expectations of we should feel happy, we should feel joyful, it's all those shoulds as well that can come in there. And so we feel, oh, it's not okay to not feel well or not feel happy. And I can't really tell anybody because they'll go, well, it's summer, as though that makes a massive difference. But again, it's about acknowledging how one feels, and breathing in to the diaphragm, helping to reset the nervous system. Because people often think of the nervous system around Christmas time, but it is all year round.
Definitely. And so our free gift to you with this episode is a summer meditation MP3. And so this is just to help ease you through the next couple of weeks, the next few weeks. And it isn't very long, but it may help you just to pause, to breathe, and to recalibrate your nervous system a little bit. And so if you would like this free summer meditation MP3, then all you need to do is to email into us on the email address below, and we would be honoured to send you a copy to help and support you over the next few weeks. So we've already touched on this, but I think that burnout in the summer months is something that we don't think could happen, should happen, but it does happen. And we've already touched on the fact that you can be busy, there's more activities. If you do sport outside, there's more things going on, competitions, more practice, everything else that goes with that. And then you've got all of the additional social events and gardening to do if you've got a garden. So what we would like to offer you is 3 tips for you to help yourselves. So would you like to share those with our listeners, Amanda?
Yeah, so the first one is to set intentional pauses. So it doesn't have to be more than 5 or 10 minutes. So it's not like, oh gosh, I've got to find an hour in the day, because that could be very difficult. But it's 5 to 10 minutes where you just literally become still. This helps to reset your nervous system, and it could be like stepping outside, getting some fresh air. It could be just moving away from your desk, because, especially where people are working from home as well, you tend to be sort of like at them, and you probably even eat your lunch there. So it's just about things like that, taking that time out of what your normal routine is for the day and just sitting, being aware of your breath. Sit in the light, but without doing, without reading, without checking emails, just being in that space. And the second one tip is to protect your energy boundaries. And by that, we mean about not saying yes to everything. If something isn't filling your heart and you really, really don't want to do it, don't just go and say yes because it's expected of you. Just say, right now, that doesn't sit with me right now. Whatever it is, whatever the wordings are, one of the things that always cracks me up a little bit about this is that if you said yes, people wouldn't go, why have you said yes? But if you say no, why? Something wrong? Is it straight away, isn't it, Jo? I mean, we've noticed it over the decades. Whereas if you say that actually just doesn't sit right with me right now, that's it. End of. But what that can do is that's you then putting yourself first. That's not being selfish. But if you think of the airplane with the air masks that come down, it's about you need to look after yourself first so that you can be there for other people. And then the third one, which is the biggest one for me, and that's about coming back into your body. It's about being present in your body. So you're not out in the future, you're not remembering what you did do, but you're actually in your body. And that can be grounding, such as walking barefoot in the grass, which isn't so difficult in the summer months, I have to say. Gentle movement and being aware as you're just stretching or simply shifting, placing your hands over your heart area. All of those can help you to reconnect and recharge, because rest, it's not a sign of weakness. It's actually energetic wisdom. And a very wise friend of mine, she actually told me that voice. Didn't you, Jo?
Yeah, and I think that that's what we often feel sometimes. And, you know, we talk to you, the listeners, but we've been there, we've walked this path, you know, saying no and then feeling guilty because you've said no, and then beating yourself up because what will people think because I've said no. So it is about really aligning with yourselves, with what you need energetically. I call it coming home to yourself. And when you come from that place and you say no, you know you're not doing it with malice, you're not doing it to hurt or harm, you're just doing it to protect yourself. And also rest. You know, don't feel guilty for resting, because when you take that moment to rest, however long it may be, it will replenish you more than carrying on through the rest time. It will bring you more energy. It will bring you more clarity than pushing through and carrying on regardless when you're tired and overwhelmed. There is such power in rest, and yet 90% of us don't gift ourselves that moment to just have that time out of our doing and be in the being. So, you know, some important snippets of information here. And please do remember to just, if you find this helpful, do go back through the other episodes, because you may not remember all of it. There is a lot of information that we impart with you, but there may be just one thing that lands with you that you take on board that can make all the difference to your health and your well-being.
So just to recap, today we have explored what the summer solstice means on an energetic level, how it affects our energy and our nervous system, and more importantly, why pausing, resting, and resourcing ourselves is essential, because without that resourcing, we become depleted. And that is actually when the imbalances occur. They can arise, they are exacerbated. The more tired we get, the more we will feel out of balance. And then that can have that dis-ease within the body. You're just not comfortable in that sense. We want to thank you so much for joining us on this one. We were trying to work out what our next topic was going to be. So if you've got an idea, something, we've got loads that we can come back in on and start working in around more, because we did say that we would do a bit more on rest at some point. So that might well be the topic, or it might be a magic one. We'll wait and see. But we wanted to say thank you for joining us on this episode, and it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.